Okay, this is for all you first timers. The ones who have never put an Ikea cabinet together. I'm going to show you how to do it because all those other videos that you've seen, everybody makes it look so easy. It's a crap. It's not easy, not when you're doing it the first time. You talk to a doctor about taking out an appendix, he'll tell you it's easy because he knows how to do it. So anyway, you're gonna, with your order, you're gonna get a pamphlet with instructions and everything that you need to put the cabinets together. I put about 50 of these cabinets together. Never once was there a missing piece. So I'm going to show you how to keep from losing those pieces. But what's funny is there's a picture of a couple drinking coffee, smiling, sitting next to their finished kitchen cabinets, right? Okay? Well, that's not the couple. Those are the divorce attorneys. That's what a nightmare this could be if you don't know what you're doing. So hopefully I can give you some tips and I can save you mistakes and money that cost me when I was learning to do this. So next thing I recommend is, if you're going to put a number of cabinets together, is get your one of these electric screwdrivers with a torque adjustment. These are really handy and make stuff go faster, and you get the handle of it really quick. So first thing we're going to do is open the box, which doesn't seem like a chore or that difficult. But let me tell you what, if you do this wrong, you're going to damage stuff. So, and never use a knife or anything to cut these boxes open. Only your hands. And they put it together like you're never going to open the box up. So you can just tear it apart. Doesn't matter how sloppy you are, how neat you are. What I like to do is I like to just open up the end on it so I can slide the pieces out. Now you're going to see there's a bunch of cardboard and stuff that they pack to keep your cabinets from getting damaged. But you got to be careful. You got to examine every piece that's in this box, because sometimes there's screws and hardware hidden in some of these cardboard panels that you'll just throw away if you're not paying attention. Like this here, here's a box of your hardware. Okay, now I've cut the crap out of my fingers just opening the hardware box. So I'm going to be very careful doing this right now. Okay, and once I have this open, what I suggest you do is, first of all, you take out all of these brackets. Oh, there's plastic and metal brackets. Take these out, put them to one side. Next thing, these packages, open up the packages and put everything back in the box here. This way, you won't lose anything. So, here we go. Put it all in here. And away we go. I'm going to put this over to the side. I'm going to put my hardware over to the side here. Hang on until I need it. Then I'm going to start sliding out the material. Alright. This is your back panel to the cabinet. Very flimsy, very unforgiving. Very easy to damage this. I will show you how not to do that, hopefully. And here's one piece of our cabinet. I'll put this down here. Another, what I usually do is I keep the side pieces together and the bottoms I put in a different stack. More cardboard, nothing in here. No parts, no hardware. And I look in here, and I got more cardboard. Get rid of that. More cardboard, no hardware. I've got a couple more pieces left in here. I'll slide this out. More cardboard, and then look in the box. Make sure there's absolutely nothing left in there. Very important. You want to make sure you don't leave anything in there, because you'll be making a trip back to Ikea to the embarrassment department, where they have spare parts and pieces that people break. Okay, so instruction booklet. Probably the most important thing to putting an Ikea cabinet together. It's very important that you follow this to the letter. They've done an excellent job. They don't talk, they show you pictures, which for an idiot like me works much better than telling me anything. So I'm going to open up to the first page, and the first page is going to be our side panels. So if you look carefully at the pictures, it will show you how to lay these out. So to the right, you have your cabinet with the groove here from the back panel. Okay, that goes to the right, and I suggest that you lay the cabinet out exactly how the manual shows here. That way you don't make any mistakes. So now I'm going to take the other one, and I'm going to put the other one here. Okay. Then the next step is to put our cans in. So I'm going to bring my box of hardware that I put in here so I wouldn't lose it. And normally I set my gun, your gun could be different depending on the manufacturer, so you want to kind of test it. So what we're going to do, we're going to follow the pictures here, and the picture will show you exactly which hole to put these in, so you can't mess it up. And you want to be careful, because this should be considered fine china. This is very unforgiving. It's very easy to damage. You can chip it, you can break the corners off of it, you can crack the melamine vinyl foil that's on here. So you want to make sure that you treat these with the utmost respect. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this between my fingers, and I'm going to hold it up straight. So you want to make sure you're looking down and it's as straight as it can be. And then you just tap just ever so slightly the trigger on your gun, and you can get it started. You'll feel when it starts. Once it starts, you can let go and then let the gun do the rest of the work. Now it ratchets like that, but you don't want to stop it until you see the cam is actually quit spinning. So, okay, stop spinning. So I had mine set to 4. Now I'll double check the torque with a hand screwdriver to make sure that I'm tight enough. Don't want to go too tight. You go too tight, you're going to snap the top right off of this. You'll never be able to use it again. Too loose, it'll come apart on you. Okay, so I'm just about perfect at 4. So now I'm going to do the rest of these. Now, if you have a nice work table, which is raised up off the floor, and you have a pad protect the outer part of the cabinet, which they don't always show, but sometimes they do. I'm going to continue to put these in. Now, if you're working on the floor, you don't want to put the bottom studs in first, because when you're up here putting the top ones in, you're going to slide back, you're going to snap this thing off. So if you're on a table, it doesn't really matter much, but if you're working on the floor, do the top ones first and then work your way back. Okay, annoying things, unforgiving. Be very careful. Very, very careful. Very careful. Okay. I can't edit this, otherwise I would, you know, go on to the next step. So you just have to bear with me or fast forward. But notice the cam's going nice and straight because you're guiding them. You want to make sure you're guiding them straight. Do not let this thing try to find its own way. You'll snap the veneer right off the side of the cabinet. You'll cross-thread it, and this is not real wood. This is like, as they call this, MDF, and they have all kinds of fancy names for MDF and fancy ingredients, but to me, it's sawdust they swept up off the floor and put some glue on it and made it look like a piece of wood. So it's not like working with hardwood whatsoever. So you got to be careful. Everything is care. You don't want to rush. There's no need to rush, because when you rush, you're going to cost yourself money. And that is what we're trying to avoid, because that's the reason you bought these cabinets. If you wanted these to be done by somebody else, you're going to pay anywhere from $500 to $1,200 a linear foot to have custom-made cabinets out of solid wood. So it's a pretty good deal if you're somewhat handy. Like I said, you don't need a lot of tools to do this, but care. Everything is care. Care, 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 care. You want to care. Be very cautious. And we're going to spin around there for a while. And we'll spin around here for a while. Oh, look at that baby go in there. Oh, it went right in there. Right in there. And this, gonna be very careful. Start it easy, then crank it down. Yeah, it's split a little bit there. Yeah, that fries my ass when it does that. Okay, so now we got those in. So now we look at our instruction manual again. And the next thing is going to be your hanger brackets. So your hanger brackets, and again, if you have this laid out exactly as the manual shows, you won't put these in the wrong spot, like I've done before at the beginning. And there's a number of holes here. You want to also pay attention to where they're showing you exactly which holes to use and what part of the side panel to use. So on these brackets, they go as far out as possible. There's two options on the holes here. They go the furthest out, so it's going to stick out towards the wall more than before. Then you've got these special bracket screws. So we're going to take all these bracket screws. So there's going to be 6. So just dig through your box. Be patient. Let's not get carried away. Don't get angry like I get. Let's just be careful here. And let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, here's the last one. Hiding under more hardware. Okay. So this one I'm probably going to torque a little heavier. As I recall, they take a little more torque than the cams. And usually I do not screw anything in tight at first. I make sure I get them all started first before I do that. Good practice to get into. Never tighten anything down until you have all your screws set. And then what I like to do is pull on. I like to pull on it towards the wall so it's fairly straight. And then I'll lock down the front one, and then I'll screw the 2 back ones. And that way it'll give you all what you need. Sometimes you need a lot of space of the wall because the walls aren't that good in your house. Okay, so this was a little light. So I probably would have turned the cam up on this one, the torque up on this one to get this tight. Now, tight is tight, not stripped. Tight means just what it says, tight. So you don't want to be a gorilla with this. Like I said, fine china. This is like fine china. Okay, so that felt like a number 6 torque. So I'm going to crank mine up to 6 to put these on. Put the other two on. See how close I get. Look at that magnet. Okay, I got that one started. Again, pay attention. Make sure that you're going straight down, and you always want to make sure with your screws you're going straight down in the hole. Very important. You cross thread it, unforgiving. Unforgiving. Alright, so that one all the way. This one all the way. Whoops, so we'll see. That one all the way. Let's see how I did on my torque setting here. Yeah, I could have torqued it a little more, but double check it with my hand driver. Like I said, tight, not stripped, tight. Okay, got that in there. All right, what then? What is next here? What are we gonna do next here? Okay, next thing is we're going to put the sides on. Now, if you have someone to help you, it's a little easier. But if not, I have a trick to help you do this yourself. So, what you're going to do is you're going to take bottom piece. Now, these holes here, they face out towards you if you're standing on the back of the cabinet. Don't forget your groove here. So you want to make sure you got your groove. Your groove is lined up with your cabinet. So you got the groove here, and you got your cutouts in the back, right? So now, before we put these in, we have to put in a couple of dowels to support it. So what I do is these are like Cheetos. These are really delicate. You want to be careful with these, because I've broken these before. And I used it back on my handy driver here because it's soft. And I just slightly, just tap that baby in there. Just, you don't have to, don't tap it hard. Just, you'll feel it, it'll snug up, and that'll be good enough. Because when you put the cabinets together, it all squeezes. So we do that like that, just like that. Then, what I do, since I can't see it, it's blind, I stand back here. What you do is you line up the cutouts with your studs that are sticking up here. So you just kind of feel around, you'll feel when it catches, then you know you're in there. Once you're in there, very lightly with your palm, tap straight down, like so. Okay. All right, that's good. As long as you don't hit this, it'll stay up by itself. Okay? So then we'll take a couple of the lock bolts here, whatever they call them. So now, if you look, there's a cutout, all right? The cutout always faces the stud that's protruding through the other panel, the other piece of wood. So look down here. I gotta put my damn glasses on, I can't see. Okay, so studs are coming up from the bottom, so where they are. So the cutout's gonna be face down, and what you do, you push that in, it should go right in, and then with your thumb, push it all the way in so it recesses. Do not leave it flush with the wood. You're gonna tear up the veneer when you go to try to tighten it. So press and recess, just so you remember that. Press and recess. Push that baby all the way in. I take my trusty little 45 here, lock her up. Alrighty. Then take the other one. I'll turn this around so you can see it. Normally I would just walk over there, but I don't have a cameraman, so kind of on my own here. Take 2 more of my Cheetos. It couldn't be any more delicate. Let's see how this is going to work. Tap it in ever so slightly. Oh, probably blocking the camera here. Tap it so slightly. Another slight tap. Come on, go in there. Get in there. Down. Come on. Don't be difficult. Sometimes they're a little fatter than they should be. I don't know how that is, but these you can't. These only go on one way, so it doesn't matter how you tap them, they're going to go in straight. You just don't break them. Break the damn things. Okay? So, got that in. Next thing is going to be my other panel. Again, like we discussed, your groove. Get your groove on. Your groove on over here. Cut out holes facing you. Slide the cutouts over the top of the protruding stud. You'll feel it just guide itself. And there you go. You just tap that baby right down. Nice and easy, straight down, not crooked. You push straight down. Tap it straight down. And it should lay flush without any problem. And then we take 2 more of these things. I should really look up and see what they call these damn things. And I'm going to put these in. Push, press and recess. That's what we're doing here. Press and recess. Come on, get in there. I have time for this. Go in there, take that. Take that. There you go. Got you. Got you. Alrighty. Now, next thing we're going to do is, there's a couple ways I've done these, and there's really no easy way or harder way. You can either put these in your side panel or put these in the tops and bottoms. I like to put them in here because it seems to be easier for me to line them up and tap them in. So put my biscuits, not biscuits because they're round, but they're kind of sort of, they're just a dowel. Used to call them dowel. In the old days, they used to assemble furniture with dowels and dovetails and all fancy stuff because there were all kinds of craftsmen in the old days. Now you just got a bunch of morons like me trying to put stuff together. Okay, now we're going to take this is where this gets a little bit tricky. First of all, don't be an idiot like I was and face this the wrong way. I put one of these together and I put the back side of the cabinet together. I put face the back towards the front of the cabinet. So don't make that mistake. So the cutout here goes where your wall bracket is. So there's a groove, like we were talking about earlier. You got the groove. Slide the groove in. Now, this is an important part because when you get to the top, it's crucial. You want to push this in ever so slightly so this thing lies in the groove on the bottom here. Very important that this panel slides into the groove. Do not put anything together unless that's in the groove. Because if you're not in that groove completely and you go to tap this thing together, you're going to tear the finish right off the back of this cabinet. Another delicate piece of furniture to deal with. Okay, so I'll put my instructions over here. Now it's time to put this on. So I'm going to put my groove, get my groove on over here, get my groove on. So what I do is you can pretty much see the holes. So I got that one lined up. Line up your studs first because they're a little taller. Then, before you tap this thing down, you're going to have to play with this little groove in here. because it's sometimes tricky. And of course I gotta put my freaking glasses on. Okay, so now I'm gonna tap this down ever so gently, okay? I'm in the groove there. I'm in the groove. I'm in the groove. I'm in the groove all the way. All the way. Okay. Now, palms. Not hammer, not fist, palm. Remember, delicate china. Delicate frickin' china is what this stuff is. But again, you want to pay $1,000 a foot to have somebody build your cabinets? I don't think so. So this is what we do. You know, once the doors are on and the hardware's in, they look like professional cabinets anyway. They look a little raw now because they're not up, the doors aren't on. So again, here we go with the cutouts. I'm gonna face it. This one goes up, press and recess. The other one is press and recess. Remember, if it's not recessed, do not try to tighten it. You will tear up the finish. Boom, 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 got you. Got you. Okay, so, and doesn't matter what size cabinet you have, they all go together the same way. Doesn't matter how big they are, how small they are. The only difference is the sink vanity cabinet, because that doesn't have a top on it. It has a couple of steel reinforcement bars for the sink to lay on. But other than that, they all will go together the same way. So take my last two here, put that press and recess, and torque it down. Boom. Okay, so now that that's done, now originally I drive myself crazy. I put a T-square inside these things to see if the boxes were square. It's impossible to get these perfectly square. They're just not made that way. So forget about putting a T-square in and any of that fine tuning stuff. Just put the box together. When you bolt them up and you bolt them together, you put the doors on, you're not going to notice any imperfections. It'll be just fine. Okay, so now what's going to be next is checking your instruction manual. See what we did. We did that. We got complete here. We're complete here. We got the backs on. Now it's time to do the nails and the back part. Okay. Okay. All right. So take my box of hardware. Hardware again, where all of the pieces are here. They're not scattered on the floor. They're not under the couch. They're all right here in the box where they belong. So what I do is I take out all the nails, and you'll see the difference. Hopefully you know the difference between a nail and a screw. So we take all these little, oh, that's a screw. See, I don't know any better. Okay, let's go here. This. Oh boy. I did not anticipate spending all this time getting these out of here and wasting your precious time on the video. But nothing I can do about it. I don't have a film editor. So it is what it is. Just all you got to do is suffer through this one time and you're good to go. You should be a pro after this. Just don't volunteer to do this for anybody else, that's all. Because, you know, you recommend people or you try to help people out, and sure enough what happens, you end up making a mistake or screwing something up, and then you're the bad guy. All of a sudden you're the bad guy. Now, I use a little, to put these tacks in, I use a little light hammer rather than a big carpenter, you know, those 100-pound hammers. And I just kind of squeeze the box together, make sure that everything's right. We're pretty good here. Seem to be pretty good. And now, these are bumpers for the bottom part of the cabinet. what these do is they hold the bottom part off the wall a little bit, which makes a huge difference. It squares up the cabinets, so they're a little more plumb. They're not perfect unless you make a perfect wall, but so maybe I'll twist it around and do that later so you can see. So put there is there. So save 2 nails for your bumper stops. Put those aside. And then what I normally do is I take these nails and I kind of divide them up around the box. So I kind of have nails spaced pretty much, within a few inches of each other if I can. Sometimes some boxes, I don't think they give you enough tacks, honestly, to do the backs properly, but see what we got here. Okay, so I'll usually put four across the top. And I'll put 3 down here. Normally I like to put a tack close to the opening where these brackets are, because the backing's a little flimsy right here because of the cutout. So I kind of like to put a tack there. Don't know if it's right or not, that's just what I do. And most times it seems to work out. Okay, so what you do is just go around, tack it in. Now, on the backs, there's a dotted line, just like on a highway. So you want to put your nail directly on that line. Do not deviate from that line. Do not go left of the line or right of the line. If you're on a highway and you go left of the line or right of the line, chances are your day's ruined. So if you do that here, your day's going to be ruined. So we put this right on the line and use your fingers and make sure that these go in straight. Do not tack these in at an angle. They're going to pop through inside the cabinet, or you're going to pop through on the outside of the cabinet, and that will ruin your day and send you back to Ikea with or without your screaming wife or spouse. Okay, I feel like Geppetto. Once again, I don't have editing capabilities, so you'll have to suffer through the repetition here, unfortunately. Doing that. That's it. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. And on the line, on the dotted line, the man says sign on the dotted line. Well, Ikea says hammer on the dotted line. That's what you do. Hammer on the dotted line. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Now, of course, a pro, they'd knock this in 1 or 2 hits, but not me. I'm not a pro. I'm just your basic homeowner trying to save a few dollars. Pretty much like you, probably. Okay, and another one. Yeah, we're working our way down here. Ooh, see, that one started going crooked. You don't want to go in crooked. You don't want to go in crooked. I've punched through the side of these first couple times I did, and one time I remember that I did. Okie dokie. Okie dokie pokey. Okay. Now, these backs are like light cardboard, so you gotta, when you're working with the cabinets, when you're hanging them, when you're doing anything inside the cabinets, you gotta be careful of this back panel here. You gotta make sure you don't damage it, because it's real easy to damage if you start forcing stuff, or you start trying to bend stuff or tweak stuff. You know, if you try to tweak these cabinets in any kind of a direction and move it enough, this panel will just rip right off the tacks. So you don't want to be doing that. Okay. That's it. Go in there. Go in there. I said get in there. Down here. Okay, so last thing is put our little stoppers in. There's a couple little tiny feet protruding out of this. So when you put this on, you want to make sure, see, I've done these so many times, I still got to look at the manual to remember how that goes on. That's how important that is. That is how important that is. Again, with the glasses. Jeez. Again. Okay, so the legs go inside. So the legs face inside the cabinet. So there we go. And I usually space it, you know, a couple, 2, 3 fingers from the corner. It's good. It doesn't really matter where you put them because they're just acting as a spacer, and it's not crucial. So that one there. And I just for me, I just like to make them equal on both sides. No biggie, no reason why, just me because I'm nuts. And there you have it. There you have your assembled Ikea cabinet for the very first time. Next video, I will show you how to hang your doors. There's a couple little tricks to doing that as well. So in the meantime, good luck. Don't screw anything up. See ya.